Hello, welcome to this session. In today's session, we are talking about a technique for getting the information and ideas out from the team members or the group members or even from individuals, and that technique is called as brainstorming. So let's have a look what is this all about. Brainstorming as a technique helps in many ways. In fact, it is one of the most useful techniques around the world for getting these ideas across. First and the foremost, it is an excellent tool to focus on the important aspects. What I mean by that is, for example, you go ahead and talk about, you are told to go ahead and talk about a certain topic. Without a proper plan in place, if you just go ahead and start talking, you may end up touching base various points, but the relevance and the flow may not be correct, and that happens because you have not given a thought about what has to be included in that particular lecture, presentation, report, or whatever the communication medium is. At the same time, brainstorming also helps you to avoid the chaos part, because you may talk about many things, but if you ask the audience will say, I don't know, it was something about this topic, but the speaker was just all over the place. So brainstorming will help you in getting that focus right into the place. The way it is implemented is, it's a group activity, it helps the group to be creative and keep pitching their ideas. It is a spontaneous activity, so it's not that predetermined that you learn something and then come prepared or all that, or even if it is at that particular instance what people feel will be participating. And thirdly, it is a written documentation. Now people ask me why this point. It is because a lot of people think that they are able to remember the points in their head, but unless and until you write it down, you will never be sure about what you wanted to say. So this becomes a written document. Now implementation of brainstorming is done in many ways, and we are also going to do this in the class in one particular manner. But for the sake of just laying down the rules, it is found that most of the brainstorming techniques follow a similar pattern. What is that? Form a group. In our case, we already have a group. This can be a random choice, you can decide whatever method you want to follow for making a group, but there should be a small group, maybe from 4 to 8 maximum. Announce the topic, and the topic would be given to each of the group, what is the topic for brainstorming, and then the group should spend some time in order to think over the topic for just recollecting whatever they know about it. So that's is a mandatory step, by the way. Once that is done, then starts the second part of implementation. This is typically a writing, where every member will be writing down his or her ideas. Now at this point, remember, shouldn't be judgmental about any idea at this stage. You shouldn't be judgmental about any idea at this stage. Keep writing whatever comes to your mind. Don't even argue with anybody if you don't like or you have an opinion about certain idea. Let it just be there. Also, don't worry about the organization of these ideas, whether this comes first, this comes later, is this in flow. Don't worry about organizational factors right now, because we will take care of these things later. And another important aspect is, you can prod the members to come up with new ideas. So you can just ask a question about it, but never argue with the idea which is written by the member. You can prod by asking a question around that idea. So what do you think would be the effects of this? What do you think are the causes of this? Or what do you think that if it is exaggerated to the maximum? Such prodding questions can be asked. Once you are done with this, we have a bunch of ideas written by various members, and then these have to be organized in a manner that they make sense. Now all this process, like I said, can be done in various techniques, and the technique we are going to use for the session in our class is called affinity diagram. Affinity diagram in process looks something like this, where you have a set of personal notes pasted onto the paper. What it helps is that it organizes the ideas and information in the manner we want. It can be individual or it can be a collaborative tool, and the most important is that it is customizable. For example, if you write it on a long piece of paper, all the ideas you wanted to convey, then mixing them on another single sheet will be difficult, because the person who is coordinating this event will have to manually write all those things or paste those entire papers there, and later on when we want to organize the ideas in particular sections, then picking up an idea from that entire A4 paper may be difficult. Here you can just pick up that note and put it into order. So that is why it is found very easy to customize later on. So the way affinity diagrams are implemented: use personal note papers for writing ideas, use only one idea per note, do not clutter the note by writing couple of more ideas on the same paper, restrict yourselves to writing only one idea per note. Then keep them sticking on a big sheet of paper, probably kept in the center of the group, so that everybody has access to that paper. Again, do not think of organizing that like, okay, this idea is nearby, so let us paste them together, nothing of that sort. Right now just keep pasting that. Once you are done with this step, then comes the organization, and here you can see that the affinity diagram becomes very easy to organize, because you have the facility to pick up that note and put it anywhere you want to. So to start with, select the ideas which could be the headings for the given topics of the presentation, whatever you can think of. If you cannot see them in the ideas which are already come up by the group members, then you can write new headings and put it on the top. Once you have these, start rearranging the notes from that entire pool of thought to make this columns. If you want, you can duplicate some notes, because if you feel that this particular idea has to be present in this column as well as in this column, just copy that on another note and then put it there. And finally, you can rename or merge certain headings to find more clarity to the entire affinity diagram. Let me show you an example now, where we will show you how we conceptualize this course of CS 792. So I hope it will be an exciting thing. Let me just show you a video of how did we do that. So this is an example of brainstorming, and the topic we have chosen is what was the course outline of CS 792. There are many ideas. Somebody said let us focus on presentation skills, somebody said about punctuations and grammar. Well, verbal communication is very, very important. Let us video record the pre and post of the students, have some assignments in the class, call experts from outside to give guest lectures, also have quizzes during each lecture. Maybe every quiz should be connected to some lecture. There are many such ideas, right? So this is how an affinity diagram will look like, because it will have all these ideas put up on that board, where you have written them on separate chits. Right now you can't see the chits, but I have tried to show it using the different fonts and different placings. Once you are done with this particular thing, then is the time to organize these things. So that comes in the part 2 of affinity diagram implementation, where there were 3 headings thought of. There would be modules about concepts, there will be modules about skills, and there will be some administrative tasks. So verbal communication and grammar comes into the conceptual modules. There is a skill based module on presentation, and administrative tasks include conducting a quiz, video recording of the classes, video recording of students, pre and post, arranging for some guests who will come and give a lecture, and conduct assignments. By the way, guest lectures can be on skill based or concept based, therefore, these are duplicated in these columns also. So, this is how you can see that the idea generated in the brainstorming are organized in a manner that is useful to plan the particular course outline. We are going to do a similar activity in the class, therefore, we will look forward to your participation in that. Thank you very much.